just landed with heater problems, and what we're going to do is try to help to figure out which component of combustion is missing without doing anything other than trying to run the heater. We're not going to pull any panels off, we're not going to pull the nose off, we're just going to look for fuel, air, and spark the way it sits. That way when we do pull it in, we know exactly what direction we need to take. It requires 2 people to do it efficiently. One person to operate the heater, who's sitting in the cockpit right now. So he's going to operate the heater, and we're going to look for our 3 characteristics of combustion. Fuel, air, and spark. So the first thing we can do, we're going to look at it. I do it in a different progression, kind of. I do air, spark, and fuel in that order. And as will be later described, underneath this nose ball, the heater sits in this bearing, TC 1195 in this particular instance. Has a C&D heater installed in it, CD 14192. It could have a Janitrol. Pretty much any combustion heater is going to need those 3 same characteristics, and you can check those characteristics in the same process. So looking at the heater right now, we have the exhaust pipe extending out of the side of the nose. Older bearing models have the exhaust pipe sticking out in front of the landing gear strut. We have a combustion air intake, and we have some drains sticking out. So just by using the exhaust pipe, we're going to make sure that this heater has all 3 components necessary for burn. If the heater was not operating, one of these 3 things would be missing. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to look for air, then we're going to look for spark, and then we're going to smell for fuel. So we'll have our operator start the heater on low, thermostat to low, you're on. And we're just using our senses. We're using a sense of smell, hearing, and feel. So right now I'm feeling for combustion air. It needs combustion air to burn. And the combustion air should feel like a hairdryer on low. You should have at least that much airflow coming from that blower or something. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to listen for spark. Sounds kind of like a wet hornet in there bouncing around. It's the best way I can describe it, but you will hear the spark. Just a constant chatter. Don't mistake it for the fuel pump which sits in the nose wheel well, because that clicks also. But you'll hear a definite spark up through the exhaust. You have to be very careful while doing this, because it's possible you could make the heater ignite while you're down here playing with the exhaust pipe airflows. So just be careful, keep that in mind. Now the other thing is we're going to turn it to medium heat. In this instance the heater fired off. But even in low heat, what you would do for fuel, we all know what avgas smells like, or jet fuel, whatever the installation. You're going to whiff for fuel, and you're going to smell that distinct odor. And whether or not it's a good output of fuel, the spray pattern's bad, good, you still need to have fuel into that system. Low temperature. So in this particular instance, we have everything we needed. We had air coming through our combustion air blower. Output is basically like a hairdryer on low. We have spark, because you can hear it. You can hear the rattle of the spark. And you have fuel, because even if it didn't ignite, you could still smell the fuel going into the system. Now that we've determined one of those components is missing, we're going to let the heater cool off for a minute if it operated, if it started to burn. We're going to shut it down, and we're going to either tackle the ignition assembly, the fuel system, or the combustion air blower switch. One of those things is faulty, depending on what failed. So those are your 3 components: airflow, spark, and fuel. And if one of those isn't working properly, that can also cause the lack of burn. But if you feel the air, you got air. If you can hear the spark, you got spark. If you can smell the fuel, your pump is working. You might not have the right pressure. It might be a distorted spray pattern. It could be a number of things, but at least when you pull this nose bowl off, you'll know exactly what to go after: the fuel system, the airflow system, or the ignition.